So here we go. We will try to do this diagonally this time. So what we can choose to do is we'll make our outlines first, just to ensure that we know what we are about to do. So let's say that much area we're going to show as highly reflective and the rest of it gets darkened. So first you figure out the dark area. So, and automatically you start seeing the lighter one. So if let's say this is the darker area over here, and similarly you have a darker area over here, and you do the same thing in the last patch, which is over here. And you'll notice again I'm doing the same thing, even though I'm taking the strokes in a different format or a different flow or orientation. I'm making sure that I'm doing it light, so that when I do the whole thing it doesn't look bad, because if it's done in different orientations then it ends up looking a little shabby. So you simply do this, and now you're showing a high reflective surface, but you're showing it at a slope. Now the same thing, but this time we're going to be working with our other material, which is aluminium. Now in aluminium, as you can see, there is no gloss. So there is nothing that is reflecting, and therefore you need to maintain the gradient across the swatch. So you can first simply do a light coat. Once you've done the light coat, you can simply connect all of it together, ensuring that there is no white light showing. Also keep in mind, many a times what happens is we've drawn this, we are drawing this, and we end up putting our hand on top of it. In that, what will happen is that this is going to get smudged. So I'll show that to you in just a moment. So simply put a piece of paper on top of it so that you don't end up smudging anything. You show your gradient. Now obviously this is going to end up looking bad, because obviously the strokes have changed orientation. So you will have to maintain that. You'll have to make sure that you don't end up doing things like that. You can have simply one gray value running across. It may not look completely like aluminium, because obviously aluminium means that it is a metal and therefore it should have some slight amount of reflection. So simply take an eraser and just show a little bit of area which you have cleaned up. Now what you will have to remember is that because you had used a lighter hand to kind of shade this, it will be easier for you to erase it. However, if your line was dark, like obviously if I have a line that is like this as compared to that, you'll notice when I take an eraser, that line disappears. However, if I try doing that to this one's not going anywhere. It'll still show as compared to that. So same thing is true for shading also. You have to maintain the pressure with which you're drawing. So aluminium can be like this, stainless steel can be like this, and if you have copper has a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange in it. So you can start by doing the orange first, and again copper might be between these two depending upon gloss or no gloss. So let's first simply leave some space here, saying that is how it will look at the center, and then you start giving it the strokes, and you can start with orange as your first set, and then so same as timber, orange is what you're starting with. So don't darken it out too much, because if you darken this, then obviously the other color is not going to show. Same is true with black. If I start with black and I darken everything, no matter how much yellow and white I end up using on it, the black will still show. So same way here, you first simply show this. And then you build over. So if you think there is some amount of yellow in it, you use that. And yellow now you can put a little bit of pressure on, because obviously it's not going to show otherwise. So you do this. Now you will notice automatically as soon as you use yellow, this starts to look a slightly more vibrant shade. So you use the yellow over here as well. And you end up using yellow on the last triangle. So this is how you may choose to show copper. So it depends. I mean, there are different metals, they look different. For example, rosewood looks different from pine wood. You can use the same style of sketching. The only thing that you will have to change will be the colors. Okay, and then this part also, you can choose to give it a very light tint to say that even though it's shining, it has a little bit of copper on it, which shows. So this is how you end up showing different materials.